What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show, episode 45. This episode is going to be on sleep paralysis, everybody's favorite way to spend the night. Not really. It's actually not anybody's favorite. And Rob here is going to learn all about it today. Probably going to get a little bit of it tonight, won't you there, Rob?
No, probably not. I can guarantee you, it probably will not.
You don't want that, trust me.
It hasn't happened yet. I don't think it'll happen ever.
It's a horrible experience. I hope it never happens to you. Our quote for the day is by Earl Nightingale, and it goes like, "We are all self-made, but only the successful will admit it." Also, he has a really good book too, by the way. I love Earl Nightingale. Anybody who doesn't know who he is, look him up. Look him up now or later. Look him up. All right. So, Rob, what do you know about sleep paralysis? What do you know about it? What have you heard? What have you heard about it?
Basically, what I've heard just through reading various things and hearing people's firsthand accounts, it's like a paralysis. You're just stuck. You're stuck in kind of this weird like you can't do anything. You can't make moves. You can't scream. You can't do nothing. You're just stuck. And it's like a weird. It's almost like a dream, but it's not. You're awake for it, but nobody's gonna be able to tell what you're going through. You're seeing things, you're hearing things, you're feeling things. You can't breathe. All these things that I think all come about from it. And again, it all comes down to that word paralysis.
Yep.
So, and basically the story I read here that I thought kind of pretty much summed it up real well was from a Redditor. As a child, they would get sleep paralysis once in a while. Waking up on their back, they would see a dark creature in the corner of their room, but they couldn't move. They would try hard to scream or speak, but they couldn't. And right when they were finally able to move a finger, it would rush to them, and it would disappear. So it was like
Whoa.
it was all over with, but it gave you one final like rush of like, uh-oh, and then it was done with. So that's basically kind of sums up my whole knowledge of it. I've never experienced it, so I can't give you any firsthand accounts. But from what I've read and what I've heard, yeah, it's not a pleasant
Mm-mm.
thing.
Not at all. No, it's horrible. Obviously, everybody who's experienced sleep paralysis gets it in different strengths and different durations, and they'll see different things. Sometimes people don't see anything at all. Sometimes people hear things. You got um, these sounds, maybe some like vibrations, kind of feelings, presence of different. It could be like something like that story said. Like it could be something in the room. It doesn't have to be like a creature. It can just be like a figure. It could be a person. Could be any kind of person. Usually, the most common thing people reported having with the sleep paralysis is it's usually just like silhouettes of like body, like someone standing there, someone's body. It's like one of the most common ones. Um, a lot of images, because sleep paralysis has obviously been around for a long time. It's been recorded for centuries. People have gotten these experiences back in the 1700s and so on and so forth. And the pictures, they always kind of depicted these experiences as like demons and stuff, like these life-sucking demons and bad energies and spirits and stuff. Because a lot of these pictures recorded, people would illustrate these experiences in pictures and paintings and stuff. and they always have these like demons or kind of like demonic looking evil spirits and stuff, just weird creatures and
Hmm.
stuff. And I don't know particularly if anybody nowadays has the kind of like stereotypical little like devil demon gargoyle looking guy. I'm sure maybe somebody has, but usually it's like those weird silhouettes of somebody standing in the room or next to you, or you feel around you. I lay on my side. I don't know how you sleep. Like when you actually fall asleep, do you turn on your side or?
Commonly, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't sleep on my back. Just it's just not comfortable. So I've never ended up that way. And it seems like that is kind of a common case for a lot of people that get sleep paralysis is they're on their back.
yeah.
Um, and I'm not really sure why specifically that side of sleeping is the most common for it. I guess I don't understand. That seems to be the most that seems to be the safest position when it comes to making sure everything, you can see
On
all of
your
your
side
surroundings.
or on your
No,
back?
on your back because you can see everything. You can see all your surroundings. It's like having your back against a wall. You can at least see everything that's in front of you and around you. You have a good perception.
I
So
think
that's
that
why
makes it
I
more
find it.
scary of an experience, in my opinion.
I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, yes, it results in that. But I think,
Get the 180 view.
but I think realistically, if we're talking like where you would possibly want, like let's say there's a physical intruder, something that's real, not sleep paralysis, but a real
Oh,
intruder,
sure.
you want to be on your back because that way you can see everything that's going on. You have a good visualization, or if you're on your side, somebody could be just on the other side of you. You would never know. Um, so that's what I mean. That's why I find it so odd that a lot of the stories I've read in a lot of the cases, it's sleeping on your back. Now it's happened to I think everybody, no matter what position they sleep in. But um, I read a lot about laying on my back, and that's what happens. Like all of a sudden that overcomes them. So I'm a little puzzled by that. I guess I find that to be crazy. It's almost like even at your safest, you're still not safe. It's just crazy. Like
Exactly.
that's what makes it even worse to think. It's even scarier to think. Even when I feel like I'm at my complete safest possible position, I can still be attacked by something that I can't control.
Gremlins, dude. The
So,
gremlins.
uh,
Yeah. I For me, I think I've experienced sleep paralysis 4 or 5 times, somewhere around that number in my life, and each time that I've had it, I'm always on my side. I'm a side sleeper. I sleep on my left side. I actually felt more safe and comfortable because I knew what it was. If it's your first time experience, I get why you'd be like, "Oh, I'd rather be on my back, man. Then I can be ready and ready for whatever happens." Just in case if it really was an intruder in your house or something, and not actually like a hallucination or a spirit, whatever you're thinking it is, because then you'll have that defense and stuff. But um, when sleep paralysis happens, and you've had it happen, a few times, and you're kind of aware of what it is, I found it, yeah, much more comforting that I was on my side because less of my vision. I have less vision to see if there actually is stuff around me, like
mhm.
hallucinations and you know things and whatever creatures or whatever the heck people see. I personally have not seen anything from my experiences. I didn't see much, but I did feel presence. I felt something walking around me, and no, there was nobody in my room. That'd be the first conclusion somebody would come to. It's like, well, maybe somebody, when you were younger, maybe when your parents came in your room or as your brother or something.
Right.
But after this experience, the first time that I had it, I woke up after. It took probably couple, maybe like a minute. It lasted a little bit under a minute, maybe 45 seconds. It wasn't too long, but the duration can vary. Some people it lasts like, few seconds, 10 seconds, whatever. Some people they can have it last for a couple minutes. I have not heard any longer than a couple minutes, but if somebody did experience that for more than a couple minutes, dude, that sucks. That's awful.
Yeah, and I think just with what people experience, it is kind of it varies. You know, some people don't get a really super terrifying one, but others do, and that's where here's another story that I read, and I thought this was insane. Another redditor. By the way, these are from Reddit.
That's Hey man, that's just fine.
And this is from somebody that gets sleep paralysis on the regular. And they explain that no matter how often it happens, it's still, you would never become numb to this. One time they explained a little girl was in the corner staring at them. Suddenly, the girl shrieks and runs over and starts choking them.
Oh,
So that's another experience that. Now that's a little bit more because I know people say that they sometimes have the trouble breathing, and maybe that's where it comes from. That is,
yep,
they
like
start to
something
kind of
sitting on
have
your
that.
chest, or
Yeah.
yeah, that's where like the whole demon like phenomenon came from, when they just all these older paintings always be a demon sitting on the chest, like, and the people would say they had trouble breathing, and just like you said, and yeah,
Yeah, it
that
is.
that's so weird. That's so weird.
It's crazy, and that's kind of one of those things that obviously you're sitting there and you're fighting in your mind to just make any sound whatsoever, and then eventually it happens, which I think it's crazy to me to think that you have to really put a lot of effort into it, and just because I think you're still asleep ultimately. I do
Your
truly
body, yep,
believe.
your
So
body is off. It's
yeah,
sleeping, but your
um,
mind is awake.
and that's what I mean. These stories are just, some of them are just insane. Some people put it into different perspectives as like a alien abduction. I read that, which that's another conspiracy theory. Is you get abducted in the middle of the night, and then this is what
Oh,
you experience, but you can't really put it into words when you wake up. Like, what just happened to me, or
mm-hmm.
like you said, demonic. Anything demonic that could be taking over. Again, who knows? Yeah. Um, and so I've also been reading too. Another thing that I guess there's a condition called exploding head syndrome
Exploding head syndrome. What is
from
that?
sleep paralysis. Yeah, it's basically
I don't think I heard about. I've never heard about that. What the heck?
it's like a loud boom that goes off in their ears. Now, of course, nobody else hears it but themselves. So I was reading some on that too, and I think that could be another thing where it's like it just, again, your mind's playing tricks on you. And maybe that's a part of it's like, hey,
Now that you
you need to wake
now that
up.
you say that, yeah. Now that you say that, I think I did have that, but it was multiple
hmm
um pops or explosions or whatever. It
Now
was
that could
so
be
it's so weird.
anything. Yeah, and I
That's
don't
true.
know if that's the correct name for it, the exploding head syndrome. Somebody
That's a
just kind
good
of
name for it.
detailed it to it, just because they said that they heard loud boom-like noises,
Yeah.
similar to a gunshot or like a firework going off. It's the same thing, and it's just
They
right
live in
there
St.
in your
Paul.
head.
If they lived in St. Paul, it was a
Eh,
gunshot.
um,
uh,
but anyway, that's one of the another thing that I think comes out of it too, and yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's insane. Some of these crazy stories, because a lot of it
there's a
all
lot
has
of
to do
stories.
with a presence, no matter what. Everything has to do with some sort of presence, whether they can fully see it or they can't. If it's just like you said, just like a silhouette, no matter what, it's
Mhm.
just eerie and
Oh yeah, for
mm,
sure.
um,
Some people get way more descriptive. They start describing like faces and stuff. See, that's where I would tap out, man. That's where I'm like, I would start shaking or attempting to shake, because you can shake it off. You have to really like use your mind to like you try doing it with your mind, your head, and then your body. You're like, oh my god, dude, my body's not reacting. I'm not moving. What is this? Like it's just such a weird. It's like somebody just shut off all your muscles and everything. And it's like turned off, like with the switch. And yeah, you're just trying to shake with so much effort. Eventually, when I had it, I could like for the first or second time, I could start moving one like body part, like one limb. Like first it'd be like my leg, and then I could just start moving the other leg, and then it would just kind of slowly creep up and go away, and I could start moving my whole body, and I can get up.
And here's another story. Now this one is with somebody that sleeps on their stomach,
Oh,
and this one basically explains that the hallucinations did not make this individual feel freaked out.
really?
Actually, it was they wake up sleeping on their stomach with their face in the pillow and they struggle to breathe and they can't calm
Oh
down, so they
no.
start to hyperventilate. Um, so basically, not maybe feeling like they're being suffocated by their own selves, which that's another case of like, hey, this one's not necessarily a figure doing this, but who knows? Because you can't see behind you. You don't know. All you know is that your face is in the pillow. You can't move your head,
Oh
and
yeah.
you're struggling. So there's a case of somebody sleeping on their stomach, and now that to me would be, I don't know. I feel like that would be more common than sleeping on your back or on your side with stuff happening to you. I feel like when you're sleeping on your stomach and your face is in the pillow, I feel like that would cause more problems than any other position.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Now,
yeah,
I
because
don't
I mean
know.
you can't breathe if you're like in the pillow, and then
And then you
it's
start to
like
hyperventilate. You're just constantly
making it
breathing
worse,
in. You're
using
not
more
breathing in
oxygen.
anything. Yeah, you're just pretty much sucking in the pillow.
That's scary.
You're not getting any actual air. um. So wow, yeah, it's
That would be rough situation right there. Luckily though, there are ways to fight this.
okay.
Obviously, I kind of shared something with my experience. You can shake keep trying very, very hard with your mind. Use your mind to try to move your legs, your arms. Concentrate on that on each of your limbs, and slowly move them, and then you can kind of break free. It takes a little bit, but it did work for me eventually. It just took a little bit for it to like, okay, come on. It's like trying to start up the car. It's clicking, but then finally it catches and it starts, and then your body, you can move again. Um, Sometimes obviously you have a lot of different things that sleep paralysis can be attached to, different disorders. You get like insomnia, an anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, major depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. Um, these are some things that can cause it. So these aren't solutions. I should probably make that clear. Lack of sleep, sleeping on the back, frequent changing of sleep schedule. Ooh, that's bad. That's me. Using certain medications, the highlighted ADHD medications, uh, leg cramps, and substance abuse. That makes sense. Substance abuse
See,
definitely
that's when
makes.
you brought up the changes in the sleep habits. That's one thing that I read about prevention is to go to bed at the same time each night and get up at the
Mm-hmm.
same time each morning. Try to get a regular amount of sleep between
Yep.
6 to 8 hours. Um,
Your body
but
loves routine.
and then get
Loves it.
exercise, but don't do it, immediately before going to bed. Do it within a good chunk of time. So there's ways to stop it. I think too, no caffeine, no playing around on your phone, stuff like that. I think there's a lot of things like that that just kind of
YouTube,
all
man.
add up. Now, this is also good things to just to have good sleep, but um, sleep paralysis ultimately can affect you. It can probably ruin your day. I'm sure you know better than most.
Oh, yeah.
It can make
Without a
you
doubt.
feel really just groggy in the morning. Like, yeah, I did not have a good night's sleep. It's like having a nightmare. You're gonna wake up and you're gonna feel. Now, this is obviously more
It's
serious
like
than a
a
nightmare, but
it's like yeah, it's like a yeah. It's like a wake mirror.
Now they do
Is it?
say that there really is no proven therapies to necessarily stop these
Yeah.
sleep
Yep.
paralysis attacks,
Yep.
but they do say that if you
Disclaimer.
focus on making small body movements, such as maybe moving a finger, moving a toe,
Yep.
um, doing whatever, that helps, and
You
then
just
it
gotta
slowly
focus on
helps
it,
you
man.
recover. Hmm.
Yep.
And like you
Focus
said,
on
just
it.
you tried so hard to shake, eventually you were able to do it, and then it just slowly worked itself around. So,
Yep. Yep.
uh, yeah.
My control returned, but yeah, there's a lot of solutions. Yep, like having that good sleep schedule. Uh, your body loves routine, so when you keep a nice routine, it helps your body adjust to things, and it works much better on that schedule because it knows what to expect. When you're going to bed at different times every night, your body's like, dude, what the hell is this? What is this? 1 in the morning? Come on. What happened at 10:30, man? So then it's just it disrupts your circadian rhythm. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it disrupts that circadian rhythm. You got yeah, big disruption to the sleep schedule. Not good. Um, yep, that body movement we just talked about. That's a big one. Um, that's probably the one I'd number one recommend if you're experiencing it. But some more preventative things is probably you can try different mattresses. Sometimes if you have a really really shitty mattress and you're not getting good sleep, man, you gotta change that. Yeah, you gotta get a new mattress, a new bed. Um, yeah, our bodies are so sensitive; they need to be catered to, and if they're not catered to, especially for sleep, that is not good. It's gonna cause a lot of chaos, and you're gonna be restless, and you're gonna hate life. So make sure you got a really comfortable mattress. It's important.
Now, I was reading too. Just obviously, like you said, it doesn't last too long when you're going through
Thank
it. Obviously, you
God.
said a few seconds to a few minutes for most people.
Yep. Thank God
However,
for
I
that.
have been reading some people have described it as sometimes lasting upwards to 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh
You
man,
know, um, and I
that's
think
rough.
a lot of doctors are describing that as something outside of just sleep paralysis, something a little bit more
They
serious.
gotta have some kind of disorder, some kind of
Hmm.
manic depression or something,
And that's
major
where I think
depression.
too with like, I don't know how it is for people with schizophrenia or um some sort of like dementia, things like that that maybe they definitely affects their mind and affects their brain, or even doing drugs like DMT. A lot of people explain DMT can be a positive thing. Sometimes it can be negative. Same with like all those other drugs like LSD, um, the psychedelic mushrooms, all that stuff. People take that and it's either going to have one effect or the other. Really is no in between. So I'm thinking maybe that's where you get those longer ones, or some people doing things they shouldn't be doing, and maybe
Hmm.
things are stretching. I don't know. I feel like an hour is just got to be the most
That's
miserable time of
awful.
your life.
That's pretty bad.
um,
That's scary.
Basically, this was just something that I was reading here from this a redditor as well. She explained that her longest and scariest sleep paralysis episode was about an hour long. She was napping.
Oh,
I was napping and I really wanted to get a glass of water. I wake up, get up, and go to the kitchen, and I suddenly feel like something is wrong. I turn around and I can't remember what I see, but pure terror overcame me, and I found myself back on the couch. It was a circle, and I couldn't get out of it, but I was fully aware I was doing
whoa,
the same thing over and over again.
dude.
The weirdest thing was that I know I never left the couch, but I really felt like I had woken up. And when I finally did wake up, it took me a moment to be sure that I wasn't in a dream. Um,
Definitely hallucination.
and since then, and she has explained that she's had a hard time differentiating from dreams and reality. So it completely kind of really put her on edge there.
Yeah.
Basically, supposedly she thought in her mind she got up, and she didn't. She was still sleeping. So, however, in her own mind, she remembers this, but never happened. It's insane. And she was stuck in a circle doing the same thing. How did? Oh my god! These just don't get any better. That's the thing. Some of these stories are
No,
just a little
they
much
really
here.
don't. I'm sure there's even worse ones than that out there. There's probably way worse ones. That one's bad, but man, I wonder what like some of the stuff people have seen like that they can, because sometimes you just can't explain things like that you've seen. You just like it's so hard to tell people like, yeah, I don't even, especially if they're on drugs, I don't even know how to explain what I've seen. It's just so like I was
Hmm.
so disorientated, and the thing that was there was it was inexplainable. It was just this weird figure. It's
Yeah,
freaky.
obviously at this point, I think nobody's denying that this is real. I think that's the thing. Nobody's going to deny it because
Oh
so many people
yeah,
have had it.
that'd be
Um,
crazy.
However, I think it's just some of the stories are just a lot of them are similar, but
Oh,
each
it's
person has
yeah.
something necessary. They each have a different adverse reaction, whether it's they can't breathe or they can breathe. There's all sorts of things that kind of go into it. And they do say if you suffer from narcolepsy, which is sudden kind of this onset of like this sleepiness and this drowsiness, they say if you suffer from that, you can be more common to have sleep paralysis episodes. So obviously, if you have a little bit of that type of grogginess, even I think just general exhaustion may bring it on too. Like if you
Yep.
just had a really long day and you just want to sleep, some people sleep like a rock. I wish I could be you, but obviously other people don't feel the same. Some people can't sleep that well, and I don't know. I obviously I don't think this happens for people with insomnia, but obviously it happens with people that maybe get too much sleep, and maybe people that obviously don't eat correctly, maybe have some poor health, things like that. That's what I'm reading. A lot of people with some issues. Not saying that everybody has a mental issue, but I mean, just anything. It could be from eating a
Yep.
greasy dinner and just
Yeah, eating
unfortunately you
before
don't sleep
bed.
correctly. Hmm.
Eating before bed promotes usually nightmares and bad dreams and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm somebody that doesn't really have many like I've haven't really had a lot of sleep paralysis episodes. I've had plenty of dreams and nightmares and things like that. I mean, recently I haven't had any nightmares. I'll applaud myself on that. I'm glad I don't have to experience that often. In fact, I dreamt last night of mozzarella baked over mastacholi. That was my dream,
Oh,
was food. I had a
what?
food dream, and it was weird. I was like, I woke up. I'm like, why was I dreaming about that? It's just odd. But that stuff is what happens to me. Now, if I had to experience sleep paralysis, I can't imagine my day being the greatest. I just can't. I can't see how I function properly during the day knowing something just really messed up happened that I can't control. I don't know how it is for everybody else. I don't know how you manage to go throughout the day with that, but I feel like that would just be in the back of your mind, like what happened to me? What just took place?
Yep, exactly. I mean, I was pretty young too, so I was thinking about other things like going outside and
Right. There's not a
riding the bike and stuff. But yeah, no, it was. I did think about it. I remember thinking about it the other day, and I was just like, I was asking, like, what the hell
I
was
feel
that? Why
even
did I?
even at a young age, I still feel like you would have a curiosity though. You really want to
Yeah. Oh,
know.
yeah. Absolutely.
Because that's yeah, it's from what I've been reading, it's unpleasant. Um, obviously the stories are creepy and they definitely kind of make you not want to do this. Um, in fact, here's a one that I think was a little more interesting because this one, this individual, while experiencing sleep paralysis, would hear a female voice saying, "Go back to sleep," or "Good night, baby."
Oof. Whoa.
Supposedly, it was a woman in completely black silhouette, um, always sitting on their chest. They really couldn't see their face or nothing, but they could definitely see that it was a woman because obviously the voice and everything. But they're sitting on your chest again. That seems to be another thing. So,
It's
and that would happen. He
spooky.
said 2 to 3 times every month.
Holy crap, that poor bastard.
So it could happen. Yeah, that's the thing. It's funny because of just how unfortunate it is. just the idea of it sounds crazy, but it's something that people experience, unfortunately. Um, Another one here was somebody that was sleeping on their side, and they felt
Did-
someone slip into bed with them and wrap their arms around their waist.
Oh
They could feel
no.
they could feel a breath on their neck,
Oh
and they said it
man.
lasted for about 30 minutes.
Dude, that is so scary. Holy shit.
And then at the end of it, they explained that the figure said, "You're not ready yet. I'll come back when you are."
Whoa, what does that
So
mean?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Demon, man.
That's the
Demons can
thing. It's insane. Yeah,
the
you hear
demon's
these
coming back
stories.
when he's ready, whenever that is and however it is.
Here's an interesting one that you might find very funny or possibly even horrifying. For one individual, he would experience a dark monkey-like figure with long arms all around them. It would try to bite them, jumping all over them. At one point,
Oh.
when they dropped their arm over the bed, they said that they did experience a bite,
Oh,
and
that's horrible.
it went from being an animal to being more demonic. So yeah, again, I
Wow.
think it's not just necessarily some human figures, but it could be creatures, gremlins, like you said, demons,
Gremlins,
whatever.
dude.
uh, Obviously gargoyles, which they sit on. I don't know how many buildings still have gargoyle statues. I don't know if any.
Only in
Um,
Notre Dame.
but yeah, so there's all sorts of things here. And you can go out and you can read these stories on your own if you really are curious. And I mean, there's so many people that have felt different things. Here's an interesting one. A guy explains after having an argument with his wife, um, he decided that he was just going to take a nap. Um, Waking up at 2 p.m. and unable to move, he was yanked off of the couch and dragged around on the floor. He couldn't see what was dragging him. And then when he was finally able to move, he looked, he saw a handprint on his leg. Now,
Oh man.
now again, it could have been his wife, but he said obviously it was something a little more demonic. So, um, yeah, something that disappeared,
Who's
and
this?
then
Yeah, who's to say these aren't demons like doing this?
that's
Like
it's the thing. He explains it.
getting you maybe your mind, you're most vulnerable, you're sleeping, and if you can't move and you can't gesture anything and you can't make noises because you can't talk usually when you have this, and you can't defend yourself or move, and you're just a sitting duck, and these demons or spirits or entities are just like, oh wow, look at this, an opportunity for me to do something. Just they
Yeah,
come and
that's
try to get into your head or whatever, and yeah, that's scary to think about. It's freaky.
yeah. I'm the ones that are really kind of freaky are the ones that are talking to the individual. I think that's
That's yeah, that's
insane.
probably
And that's what I've been reading here. Some of these ones where it's like something's coming in to say, "I'm just coming to say goodnight," and then it disappears. Like what?
oh,
Like I can't imagine the fear that goes through you. Obviously, from what you hear, you would think normally, oh, there's nothing to worry about. But at this point, it's like, well, you dig deep and you find things are just more and more worrying. It's like something coming up and cuddling with you, and there's nobody in the house. There's nobody with you. It is is there. That's
Oh, if you
insane.
lived alone too, how
Yeah.
messed up would that be?
Yeah, it's wow. um some people have heard things speaking in a different language,
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
so you don't understand what they're saying, and then it would be even harder to describe to others what was going on. So
Yep.
wow, yeah, this is definitely something that I don't think anybody would want to experience voluntarily.
No,
I
no,
know
this
people like
gotta
to do that.
spread the.
What's that? That lucid dreaming. I know people like to
Yeah,
intentionally do
that's
that.
that's different. That's a little
But
different than
I've
this
read
because
some
you're.
stuff about that failing, and they ended up with sleep paralysis.
Oh, that's horrible. Complete
So
backfire.
yeah, complete backfire. So it's like, hey, I understand you want to experience some interesting things, and
Yeah. Yeah.
however, you got to be careful. Maybe it's better to just get a good night's sleep. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
How
the
about
best thing
that?
here.
Why don't we start there?
Yes, let's start at ground one here. Let's figure something out. Um. Anyway, I'm glad to have discovered a lot of things about it. So.
At least you know now, because like, what if one day you experienced it and you didn't know what it was, and now like you,
Mhm.
if it happens to you, you can think about it because your mind is active, so
Mhm.
you can sit and go like, okay, I know what this is. This is sleep paralysis, and I'm gonna have to experience this for a little bit, for a
But
little
see,
while.
I feel like
So
that's not going to happen. I feel like it's still going to be just a state of shock, and you're never going to be able to truly let your instincts
combat
kick
it.
in. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be tough, but
Oh well, yeah.
so
Your
far so
fighter,
good.
your fight or flight's gonna kick in. Yeah, you'll be like, what? Oh man, what is happening?
Yeah, but you
What's
can't
this for?
fight it because you can't do anything. You can't move.
You can fight it. You can try to move
Yeah.
your body. You just gotta think about it and keep sending those little what do they call that? Little electric little waves from your wavelengths or
Hmm.
neurological can't
Okay.
think of it right now.
Well, we
Yeah.
get the point
Not a,
though.
not a scientist, all right? Come on. Come on.
we
Give
get
me a
we get
break
the
here.
gist of what you're coming
Yeah,
from, though.
just keep
Obviously,
telling your brain to move your body parts
any
and
sort of
slowly but
signal.
surely,
Okay.
you will not die. They can't hurt you. No one can.
Well, I think on that note, I don't know if you have anything else, but I
I
think that
think
pretty
that
much
wraps it
covers a
up.
good chunk of sleep paralysis. I think we got to the root of that.
Now you all know how to combat it, how to prevent it, and what it feels like and what to expect. Um, don't just expect a demon or something like that. Usually, a lot of the time, people just can't move their bodies and they're just like, oh, what's going on? This is weird. And eventually they start moving again. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you guys for listening once again. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye bye.